Hello and welcome into Anchorage Bucs baseball alongside my partner Will Hopkins. Vic Maslay here at Mulcahy Stadium in beautiful, gorgeous Anchorage, Alaska. Not a cloud in the sky, at least over the ballpark for the moment right now.
Yeah.
And it's going to be the Anchorage Bucs and the Anchorage Glacier Pilots going at it for the third time this season, and it's the first time in almost a week since the Bucs have played in a non-league game. So this will be on the record coming
Yeah.
into the game. The Bucs scorching hot, 5-1, five straight wins for this team. As for the Pilots, they're 2-6. They played a couple more games due to the rainouts for the Bucs. Have really struggled, and that one of two wins for the Pilots was versus this Bucs team to open the year, but also one of those six losses is versus this Bucs team. Oddly enough, both of these two, their last team they played was the Chinooks, in two different stories. For the Bucs, they won 12-7 on really good hitting and really good pitching. Just one inning went a little haywire for the Bucs, but that was it. And a 9-3 loss for the Pilots against the Chinooks just yesterday.
Yep.
So, Will, what's been the key to the Bucs' success? And on the other end, what's been the key to the Pilots struggling?
For the Bucks, I feel like you could equally give it to the pitching and the hitting, and if you were to only attribute the success to one, you'd be doing a disservice to the
Mm-hmm.
other. There's been low scoring wins, there's been high scoring wins, there's been close games, there's been blowouts, and I think it's just been a really solid all around team performance that we've seen so far. Even in this past 4 games where they haven't gone towards the league, playing against the local All Stars in 3 non-league games, going 3-0-1, tying these Pilots. This team doesn't lose though. They haven't lost since uh, that opening day game against these Pilots, and they're going to look to keep that going. As far as the Pilots go, it's been the hitting that's
Yeah.
let them down. They've really struggled to score runs. You mentioned the 9-3 game yesterday. 5 straight losses in league play for the Pilots. In a lot of those games, 1 run, 2 runs, 3 runs, no runs. They're really struggling at the plate. And if they're going to turn things around, I think that's where it will have to start.
Well, the pitching, of course, yesterday did not go as planned for the Pilots. And when we talk about the Pilots pitching, it's not that it's not been good. It's just they don't have a lot of guys compared to other teams like that. So you're throwing guys out there for multiple innings at a time, and then they have to rest. So then you're really just scrambling if you're the Pilots and Coach Price to just figure out what guys can go what time. And the Bucks not a team you want to run into right now, especially with how hot the bats are. And it would be a shame not to talk about the starting pitcher real
Yeah,
quickly. Mike Sarhat is making his debut in a league game. He did pitch last inning in the seventh inning,
an important inning.
an important inning for the Bucks, and he did really well there. Did not give up a single hit, did not give up a run, and looked really sharp. Had a couple
He really
strikeouts.
didn't give up a hit.
Mm-mm.
Nobody on the Bucks staff gave up a hit on Sunday. It was a 7 inning no hitter, combined no hitter, 4 pitchers for the Bucks, 5 walks, I believe it was, but no hits. So a pretty pressure-filled situation to come into, considering it was a non-league game
Mm-hmm.
for Starhat. But he should be familiar. He played for the Bucks last season, so knows about playing in this park, knows about playing against the Pilots, and he'll hope for some better luck against the Pilots than the Bucks as a whole had last
Mm-hmm.
season, and already off to a better start than we had last year against them.
Yeah, when catching up with Sarhat, he knew that there had been struggles. Obviously, last year played with the Bucks, so he's looking to get after it. And I think this is the perfect team for him to face, being a former Buck last year. The Pilots not doing as well. Maybe he's going to take advantage of it. As for the Pilots go, a guy we haven't really heard of much, Drew Welk is the starting pitcher for them.
Yeah, just one appearance so far for Welk. That was last Monday, so it's been a full week for him, or over a full week for him. 4 innings pitched, 1 hit, 2 earned runs, 1 strikeout, and 3 walks. Interestingly enough, he pitched the second through the fifth innings, so going with a bit of an opener were the Pilots that day. A 4-1 loss against the Chinooks for the Pilots that last Monday. But you talked about the Chinooks. Not only were both teams' last league games against the Chinooks, but both teams' next league games are also
Yep.
against the Chinooks. We'll talk about that more during the game and after the game. But just some interesting stuff going on, and you're going to have those interesting scenarios in just a 5-team league.
Yep, five-team league. So a lot of people or a lot of teams play each other multiple times in a row. Obviously, we play the Oilers for about 5 games in a row. That's coming up just about a week away.
Yeah.
So we're excited for that trip. But for now, we'll take a little bit of a break. We'll talk a little bit more about the pitching, and we'll get into starting lineups and everything and more after this short break. Welcome back here to Mulcahy Stadium. We're going to get right into the lineups. Talked about the pitching before. We'll remind you about it just in a few moments. But Will Hopkins is going to give you our starting lineups for today versus the Pilots and the Bucks.
Thank you, Vic. For the Pilots, it'll be Logan Sanders leading it off and playing center field. Luke Hefner Jr. playing shortstop and batting second. And batting third and playing second base will be Dylan Marks. Luke Stolga will bat cleanup and play left field. Brendan Shanahan playing first base and batting fifth. And batting sixth in right field is Jack Dorn. Chase Knight on the hot corner, batting seventh. Batting eighth, the designated hitter Hunter Backstrom. And batting ninth behind the plate is Bo Rico. The reminder of Drew Welk pitching for the Pilots. As for the Bucks, Riley Hunsaker will play center and bat first. Cole Carlone DHing batting second, and Tommy Eisenstadt playing first base, batting third. Will Burns playing shortstop. He'll bat fourth with Andrew Lamb in right field, batting fifth. Corner infielder of the other side, Peyton Knowles on out in left field, batting sixth. Josh Hankins playing third base, batting seventh. Brody Briggs behind the plate will bat eighth, and Christian Powell at second base, batting ninth, with Mike Sarhat on the mound. So again, for the Pilots, Sanders, Hefner Jr., and Marks, Stolga, Shanahan, and Dorn, Knight, Backstrom, and Rico. As for the Bucks, Hunsaker, Carlone, Eisenstadt, Burns, Lamb, and Knowles, Hankins, Briggs, and Powell. A little bit more on the pitchers. For Sarhat, 6'3", 220. We mentioned it in our last broadcast that he actually is 6'3". Some of these players like to make add a height, an inch or two to their height, but he's all of 6'3" out of Belmont, California. Point Loma in San Diego, transferred there from Nevada. Wearing number 35, the righty. As for Drew Welk, number 33, another righty out of Bellevue College. Gig Harbor, Washington for Welk, 6'1", 180. We're about ready for the national anthem, so we'll take a quick break to avoid some copyright problems, and then we'll be back after the anthem for first pitch. Back here at Mulcahy Stadium, Mike Sarhat ready to throw some warm-up tosses. Bucks in the black tops with the white pants today. As for the Pilots, I believe they're in the traveling grays from
Yeah.
head to toe, or blue hats, but traveling gray tops and bottoms. Tough to see from this angle as they'll make their way towards home plate. It'll be Logan Sanders to lead things off, and once he does, Vic will be giving you the play-by-play.
Thank you, Will. Just watching Sarhat a little bit in his warm-up tosses. We talked to him. He's got that curveball. Looks like he's got the two-seam, obviously an electric fastball. Throws the ball pretty hard. He's talking to some guys. He's at least 91, or at least 90, 91, sitting around there. Could probably touch up 93, 94. But that's all just me saying that with the help of some of the players, of course. But he looks really tall out there on the mound, like you said, 6'3". Interesting enough, I think him and Brody Briggs are making sure that they have uh, their signs down pat when they're ordering. Because if you don't know, the signal for a curveball is kind of the glove down, If you could imagine an elephant's trunk honestly coming down like that to meet you at the hand, that's what the sign for a curveball is. And then a slider is just a sweep with the gloves. So it's a sweep horizontally, and sometimes people can get messed up, especially if you're a two-pitch pitcher like that. So a slider and a curveball for Sarhat, that two-seam fastball as well, and the electric fastball. And the throw goes down to second base, and like you mentioned, these black tops. Pretty hot day. Not the hottest we've seen it, though. Temperatures low 60s, could creep up to mid 60s, but I don't see it getting higher than 63, 64. As Logan Sanders makes his way to the plate. After him, Luke Hefner, then Dylan Marks. 1, 2, and 3 due up.
Third meeting in league play between these two. Pilots winning 3-0 and the Bucs winning 7-0, and then a 2-2 tie on Saturday in a scout showcase.
So Sarhat looks in, he gets his sign. And now for the ball game, as that one misses away for strike one. We're underway here at Mulcahy Stadium. And like we said, a beautiful day for baseball, beautiful night for baseball, I guess you could say, as we're just at about 6 o'clock, starting on time here. We've got the full quartet of umpires. This one lifted into right field. Andrew Lamb comes in and makes the grab, as he was expecting that that ball would hang out there a little bit more for him, but he broke in, was able to grab it. And you always say, lucky to play deep on the ball rather than going out and try to grab it. But those are always scary out there with that wall.
Yeah, we've talked about it, the imaginary wall in the outfield. These balls just come crashing down even when you think you have a good read on it. Often have to take a few more steps in.
So Sarhat's got one down, and that one is low for ball one. To the next batter, Luke Hefner.
Fun fact about Luke Hefner, his uncle is Ben Zobrist.
Wow.
Other uncle, John Gilmore, was a first-round pick of the Braves in 2007. That one's fouled back. And then another uncle, Jeff, pitched in college. So just, uncles all over the place on the baseball field.
And Dad's the coach at Dallas Baptist, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so it runs in the family. David Hefner is a pitcher on this Pilots team. So the Hefner brothers with their father coaching, and both go to Dallas Baptist. And then the Sanders brothers, those are three of those guys.
Yeah. Hefner's got nothing on them.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Here it is. Swung on and missed. He got him with the breaker. That one looked like it was the curveball coming more vertically. And the biggest thing Sarhat would like to work on this summer, he said, well, in a short summer, was landing that breaking ball, and he did a great job there.
Yeah, and you talked about the vertical break on that curveball, and a lot of that is also because of his delivery is way over the top, like you've talked about. Straight over the top makes 6'3" seem even taller.
Always an advantage for tall pitchers, it seems. That breaking ball missed down low. Doesn't throw the changeup, I believe. Fastball, two-seam, curve, and slider, what you're going to see. That two-seam's going to run in on the righty batters. 1-0. It's downstairs. Dylan Marks is the batter. If he can reach, Luke Stolga will get to bat.
We've talked about not every game in our stat system, but for those that have been inputted for the Pilots, most at-bats on the team for Marks with 20. Just the 3 hits, though.
2-0. Finds the outside corner. 2 balls, 1 strike. Infield pretty straight up. Hankins over there. Another start at third base. Will Burns, like usual, at short, and Christian Powell at second. A called strike. Tommy Eisenstadt back over there at first. Cole Carlone was playing a little bit of first base, but he's back to the designated hitter spot.
And we've seen him and Eisenstadt switch off a little bit, but even when they're not at first, usually have both bats in the lineup.
2-2 misses. Maybe that slider. In the warm-ups, looked like he was throwing that slider kind of in the dirt a little bit. Seemed like he had more command of the curveball, but obviously warm-up pitches a lot different than in-game. The count runs full to Dylan Marks. Like I said, Luke Stolga on deck. Marks is their second baseman, and he pokes this one out to right field. Should hang up for Andrew Lamb, and it does. So 2 fly balls to Lamb in right field and a strikeout. That's all that's doing for the Pilots. They go down easy. 1-2-3. Anchorage Bucs coming up when we come back here in Anchorage. Welcome back to Mulcahy Stadium here. 1-2-3 inning for Sarhat in his league debut. Remind you, he pitched and he finished off that combined no-hitter in the 7 innings played here on Sunday. And what a game that was. Sarhat, in front of him was Elijah Dew. Gurney started before him, and then it was also Arnett, I believe. Or excuse me, Zan Rose.
started, then Garvey Rummery, and then Dew.
Wow,
and
I
then
totally had
Sarhat.
it mixed up. I think those were the days before. But yeah, like you said, Zan Rose pitched phenomenal to
Set
come
the
out.
tone.
Yeah, it really did, and he looked really sharp. So digging in here is Riley Hunsaker, and going back, Sarhat, great first inning. Looked for the same as the game continues. So Hunsaker, Carlone, and Tommy Eisenstadt. Pitcher is Drew Welk, and he fires a strike right down A Street. Drew Welk, just his second appearance. And that one floats outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Seen Hunsaker bat lead off a couple of times, especially in the non-league games. Did it once. Fouled out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes here. And the shift a little bit. The shortstop Hefner is shaded towards the second base bag.
Yeah.
Dylan Marks, pretty normal depth. And if anything, Chase Knight maybe a little bit off the bag at third base, but nothing too crazy. The 1-2 pitch, fouled back.
You're talking about that defensive alignment. Brendan Shanahan at first base, pretty close to the line over there.
Maybe expecting something hot off the bat from Hunsaker.
Yeah.
Welk the righty comes set. Now the 1-2. Nice breaking ball, but he leaves it upstairs. 2 balls, 2 strikes. After Hunsaker, Carlone, another lefty, and Tommy Eisenstadt, also a lefty. Fouled back again.
We've seen that a lot this year. A ton of lefties at the top of the order for the Bucs, and then oftentimes they're still pretty heavily throughout the order, but especially at the top, also the most noticeable point of the game to see it.
Will Burns, the first righty that will bat in the cleanup spot. 2-2. Hit to short. Hefner makes a great stop, gets up from his feet, throws, and just in time gets Riley Hunsaker. A great play by Hefner out there. Had a range towards the hole, and remember, he was shifted more behind second base.
Yeah, no, that was a super tough play for Hefner. First of all, to get to that ball, and then because he was ranging to his right, pretty long throw, but able to beat Hunsaker by about a half a step.
So that'll bring up Carlone. We've seen Carlone pitch. He's been in the order as many times as anyone else. He's had 18 at-bats. That's the most for anyone, and it's tied with Christian Powell. He's only just had 1 walk, but he's been doing a lot of hitting. 7 hits. He's driven in 4 runs and struck out just twice.
Got to mention the home run, of course, too.
Yes. Can't forget that. 0-1. Opposite field again, but it's foul. And for Christian Powell, he's walked 4 times, so that makes it 22 plate appearances from him. But yeah, we've seen him in the lineup time and time again. He's a great fielder over there. Has struggled a little bit, just 1 hit in those 18 at-bats. We'll see him at the bottom of the order. 0-2, just a bit off the plate.
Talking about those Bucs stats, the database has every game except for that first game against the Pilots, which is A-okay with that 3-0 loss, but as a team hitting .287 across the rest of those league games. Really impressive numbers.
1-2. Fouled again. And probably would be a little bit lower with that game into play. Just 2 hits for the Bucs in the opening day game, but we'll take what we have right now.
To put that into perspective, the 5 league games that have been entered for the Pilots, team batting average of 158.
Wow. Just tough sledding over there for them. 1-2 in the dirt. Carlone does a good job getting back in it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And most hits goes to Will Burns with 9 in his 17 at-bats. He's also walked 5 times. It's
crazy numbers from Burns.
Yeah, he's looked really good. Driven in 3 runs and just 3 strikeouts. This is a very disciplined team. Not many strikeouts at all for these Bucs hitters. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Carlone. He's been peppering opposite field. Pretty big hole between third and short. 2-2. He goes opposite field, but lifts it in the air. Luke Stolga is there. No problem. 2 down.
Yeah, like you said, always got to keep an eye on left field with Carlone, and tried to go that way, but hung up for a pretty easy play for Stolga.
So Tommy Eisenstadt, he's been doing a lot of hitting lately.
Hitting machine.
8 for 16 in his at-bats, just 2 walks, but he's driven in 4. And he's yet to strike out. He's done a really good job of just getting on first base. A lot of singles, a good bit of walks. He's just always kind of finding himself over there, it seems.
Definitely been one of the Bucs' best hitters early on.
1-0's grounded foul.
And it seems like whether it's 2 and 3 or 3 and 4 in either order for Carlone and Eisenstadt, really cementing themselves towards the top of this Bucs order.
1-1 is outside. 2 balls, 1 strike. If he can reach, it'll be Will Burns. That's a good 1-2-3 punch, it seems, with Carlone, Eisenstadt, and Burns. 2-1 inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Still trying to figure out a permanent leadoff hitter. We've seen Hunsaker and Ross take turns up there. We've seen Powell a time or two. But yeah, 2, 3, 4, a pretty sure thing, and that's why the Bucs are scoring so many runs.
Hitters count. Popped him up straight up the chimney chute. And it'll be the catcher, Bo Rico, to call everyone off, and he makes the play as he dives back towards home plate. So what a play by him as he grabs that for out number 3. So the Bucs go down quietly, a 1-2-3 inning for Drew Welk. Still zeros here in Anchorage when we come back. Zeros here in Anchorage, 1-2-3 innings for both Welk and Sarhat. It'll be Sarhat back on the mound for the Bucs in his first start in a league game so far. First start in general this summer. Of course, he came into that 7th inning back on Sunday. But first real start, glad it's going to go on the record books. So those non-league games, you don't keep real score. And the first pitch by Stolga's hit to left field. Yeah, but it's caught by Peyton Knowles out there, no problem.
And for Stolga, can't buy a hit. That puts him now 0 for 15, at least in the scored games. And hit that ball pretty well, but right at the left fielder, Knowles.
So one pitch takes care of the left fielder who flies out to left. And the batter now, Brendan Shanahan, and he gets plunked right on the back.
Yeah, square in the back.
Yeah, one of the breaking balls went a little haywire for Sarhat, just didn't snap it around enough. So a hit batter with 1 down. Now just needs a ground ball. Jack Dorn, the right fielder, grabs a piece of lumber.
Not a lot of playing time so far for Dorn. Just 1 for 3.
He squares, but he pulls it back. It's a ball.
That hit coming against these Bucs, I do believe. If not, then he did pick up a hit against the Bucs in the non-league game.
The next one's a called strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Besides that one hit by pitch, Sarhat's looked really good through just 4 batters. That 5th batter, Shanahan, was plunked. He stands over there at first. Bucs trying to roll a ground ball. 1-1, big swing and a miss.
Saw Sarhat smiling during the warm-up pitches before this inning. He's super relaxed out there, and makes sense for a guy that's been here and done that.
1-2, almost hit Dorn as it comes inside. Brushes him off the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, if you know Sarhat, he's not trying to hit anyone. One of the nicer guys we've talked to this summer. One of the nicer guys I've run into here in Anchorage. Got to spend time with him. Got to have him on the broadcast. Super good person. Ground ball. Great stop. Eisenstadt steps on one. The throw to second is not in time. They would have had to tag the runner Shanahan, and he got there way in time. But a great stop by Eisenstadt saves a double down the line, potentially a run if it gets into one of the nooks and crannies in the outfield.
Impressive by him to even get to that ball. Had to lay out to not only keep it in front of him, but he gloved it cleanly. Like you said, tough play to get Shanahan, but getting the ground ball out.
So Chase Knight will hit the 4th batter this inning, and he fouls it back. But going back to Sarhat, for Springman, so focused on, player development in the aspect of personality and being a good person rather than actual skill development, Sarhat's the perfect guy you want up because he's already developed as a person. He's one of the older guys on the team, a super good guy, and someone that Springman doesn't have to spend extra time on because he got here late. Kind of already has fallen in, and not just being a good person, but knowing the Bucs organization. So he's been there, done that. He's just the perfect type of guy to come up here mid-season, just for a little bit and do his thing and help out the team as much as he can. That's exactly what he said, and he's looked really good so far. And an 0-2 count to Chase Knight. Ground ball right past Sarhat, and a diving stop. Christian Powell saves it on the infield. He's going to throw home, and they've got the runner up by a mile. What a play. Christian Powell was almost waiting for Shanahan to try to go home, and he did. So Sarhat gets bailed out, but a great play by Christian Powell, so nothing turns into a run, especially that hit batter. He faces 4, and just the one hit batter, that was it. And he gets around the 1 out base on balls. Now we head to the bottom half of the 2nd inning. Still zeros here. What a play by Christian Powell. Welcome back. Still zeros here. Great play by Christian Powell. Not sure if Shanahan was going just to go and he thought that Powell would try to make a play at first, or if Rich Price, who's the third base coach, told him to stop or told him to go, and he had no choice. But nonetheless, great play by Powell as Will Burns takes a called strike.
Yeah, great play. I'm not sure why he went either.
I mean, definitely could have been Rich Price giving him the green light, expecting Powell to throw back to first or throw to first, try to make a play. Called strike 0-2. But I'm a little bit interested because Powell was looking at him the whole time. He had no intention of going to first base. It's almost like he was waiting for Shanahan to go home. It's exactly what he was doing as Burns grounds this to second base. Dylan Marks has it for out number 1. That'll bring up Andrew Lamb playing in right field. We've seen him in left field. We've also seen him in the infield and behind home plate. So he is a jack of all trades.
Yeah, and definitely a bat that you want to have in the lineup and has shown great defensive versatility. Trying to get the scoreboard updated for y'all on the screen. Sorry about that.
First pitch to Lamb misses outside. After Lamb, it'll be Peyton Knowles. Knowles has been playing in most of the games recently. 1-0 misses outside. 2 balls, no strikes. So if the runner Shanahan held up at third base, it would have been runners at the corners with 2 outs. So Sarhat definitely had a chance to get out of that inning without giving up a run, but it would have been a lot tougher if Powell hadn't made the play that he did. Just a great job recognizing that that runner could definitely try to go home if you throw to first base. And if he did throw, with how deep into the hole he was, he probably would have been safe at home. Shanahan never hesitated and was going home the whole time. That's why Powell recognized it so early. So 3 ball, no strike counts to Lamb, and it's a called strike to him. The Pilots do get a hit. That was a hit by Chase Knight right up the middle. But the inning was over after Powell threw it home. 3-1 is roped into right field, could get down, and Jack Dorn lays out, but no. They're going to say he trapped that baseball, and I agree with the call. It looked like it skipped up into his glove. He was trying to sell it, but the second base umpire quickly called him out for it, so it's a base knock for Andrew Lamb on a 3 ball, 1 strike count.
Yeah, it was tough to see from here whether he made the play or not. Great effort nonetheless from Dorn, but Lamb rewarded with some good contact
and
by getting on base.
The only way you make that play if you're Dorn is if you immediately break in and you have a great read on that ball, and it is so hard to do that with the outfield wall that there is, that invisible wall. So if you even hesitate, which you are supposed to, you're supposed to first step back, read the ball, and he did exactly that, and you got to be on almost borrowed time if you want to go grab those balls. Check back to first, and Lamb's in there, no problem. Those are some of the toughest plays out here in Alaska. With the altitude here, the ball's not really flying that deep. They do not really hang up for you at all. Pitch to Knowles. Called strike. Interesting enough, on here, it says that Knowles has only played 2 games. But like we said, some of the stats still not in there. 6 at-bats. And our stats said he's yet to get a hit, but it seems like he's been playing in a lot more games recently. Well, we have a lot of non-league games, and he's played a lot of those. But he has been a more similar face in the lineup for these Bucs. 1 ball, 1 strike. The pitch misses down and away. Drew Welk, the righty, brings a 2-1 pitch, a ground ball out to second. Dylan Marks turns, throws to second for 1, on to first, not in time. And a good job by Hefner staying on the bag. That throw almost took him off, but he stuck the tag with his foot, and now 2 down here as Peyton Knowles reaches on the fielder's choice.
Yeah, quick spin by Marks, not the best throw like you said, and that gave Knowles enough time to beat it out.
So Josh Hankins in his first league game. He's not played yet besides these non-league games this past weekend, and he grounds it right back to the pitcher, Drew Welk. And 1 pitch takes care of Hankins. The underhand tosses in time to Brendan Shanahan, no problem. So he faces 4 after the single by Lamb. Just 1 hit, no runs, no errors, 1 left as we head to the top of the 3rd inning. Still no score here in Anchorage. Still no score here in Anchorage. Mike Sarhat back on the bump and a great end to last inning for him, and a great play by Christian Powell over there behind second.
Yeah, a bit of a lucky break for the Bucs. Seemed like a questionable base running decision from the Pilots, and hey, if they're gonna do that, you just do what you can do. And the Bucs did that, took advantage of the situation, and got the third out.
Hunter Backstrom, the leadoff batter, is the 8-hole hitter. After him, it'll be Bo Rico, and then back to the top of the order in Logan Sanders. And I like how you said that that was a Pilot's base running error, because it definitely could have been Shanahan, but it also definitely could have been Price, who was just sending him, thinking that they might have have an easy run scored.
Yeah. I mean, whether it's the actual runner themselves or the coach, it's still a team-based running error, I'd say, more than anything. And Christian Powell said, "Thank you very much." And Brody Briggs was just standing there waiting for him.
Oh, yeah, 2-0 popped up out of play. And, yeah, Christian Powell was eyeing Shanahan the whole time. And I would have to guess that it was his own decision. I would think that Price would have his eyes on Powell, but could have just taken his eyes off Powell for a second and noticed Shanahan was chugging around third, but I'm just not sure as Hunter Backstrom swings and misses at that for strike number 2.
Not sure what's up with the Backstrom helmet situation. Wearing like a camo-looking helmet, unlike the rest of his team rocking the blue ones.
Swing and a miss from Backstrom. Another strikeout, swinging strikeout for Sarhat. First and only one was back in the first inning to Luke Hefner, and he gets another one there. Backstrom plays at Fresno State. I'm not sure if those are their
Wouldn't
helmets.
think so.
I wouldn't think so either. The Bulldogs? Is that it? No.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I hope you know. That ball misses low to Bo Rico, the catcher. He has been a mainstay towards the bottom of the order for this Pilots team. Not really seen Evan Chadwick much, their second catcher. Ground ball up the middle, but Will Burns is there, no problem. They peg to first is in time for out number 2. And Sarhat's working really quickly, and it's interesting because he has the stuff that would be the wipeout stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So to strike out a lot of guys, get a lot of swing and misses. But lately we've seen very quick at bats. Just a couple of 3-ball 2-strike counts, but besides that, it's been very quick for him. Seems like he's a ground ball flyout type of guy.
I mean, if you're Sarhat, you'll last longer in this game if you can get quicker outs.
It's true. That one just misses.
Yeah, looked pretty good from up here.
But a mix-in of everything.
Yep. 2
flyouts, a line out, and 2 ground outs. Popped up, shallow center field. Long run for Hunsaker, and laying out and making the grab is Lamb. Out in right field. The right fielder comes in and takes it. And wow, what a quick 1-2-3 inning for Sarhat. I thought it was Hunsaker the whole time, but Lamb had a better beat on it and made a great grab. So the Pilots go down quietly. Another 1-2-3 for Sarhat as we head to the bottom half of the third inning. Still 0-0 here in Anchorage. Welcome back here. Zeros in Anchorage. Brody Briggs and the bottom half of the lineup trying to change that. It'll be Briggs, Christian Powell, and Riley Hunsaker. Looking at Briggs so far in the first 6 league games. He's had 13 at-bats as he fouls that one back. 13 at-bats. Has had 3 hits, driven in 4, has walked twice, just 1 strikeout, so very good plate discipline. And we know that one of those games he definitely has more than 13 at-bats. Has about probably
Well, some
16.
hit by pitches and
Yep.
walks.
But
Not
that
going to count towards the at bats, just the plate
the
appearances.
first game versus the Pilots too, he was the starting catcher. That one still not embedded in there, but I don't believe he was one of the 2 guys to have a base hit. But he's looked really good, especially behind the plate. But similar to Bo Rico, bats towards the end of the lineup. But he's a good lefty bat to have up. He's found himself on base a lot more recently. 1-1, line drive out to Luke Hefner, and he's got that one no problem. So Briggs puts a good swing on it and doesn't get rewarded.
Oh, not at all. Went the other way with it on a line, but right at Hefner.
So now I'll bring up Christian Powell, and he's done really well defensively, but has just struggled at the plate through these 6 games. Like we mentioned, has some of the most amount of at-bats, playing in almost every single game, it seems. He takes a called strike. Didn't see him much for the non-league games.
It's all more of QZ.
But that's more just because I guess they want to save him for these league games. But yeah, just that 1 hit and 18 at-bats. 0-1, just misses off the plate. But he does have 4 walks. He's driven in 2. And he's just struck out twice, so good plate discipline. He's putting the ball in play.
Not a lot of strikeouts for this team as a whole, none so far today. And going into today in the documented league games, 20 strikeouts for the Bucs as hitters to 39 for their opponents. And we've talked about it before. You put balls in play, the defense can make a mistake. You strike out, not a chance.
That one misses off the plate. 3 balls, 1 strike, hitters count. Drew Welk still out there, has looked really good. Just 1 hit for each team. Off the fist and a line drive caught by Hefner again. That one a much tougher play as the ball was drifting down on him.
Yeah, ball was sinking right in front of him, and we've seen players for both teams diving all over the field today. We saw in right field Jack Dorn just late on one that bounced right in front of his glove, but we've seen some diving plays by both teams. We saw Lamb to end last inning, and love to see them laying out.
So back-to-back lineouts to Hefner at short. And back to the top of the order, Hunsaker takes the ball on the outside corner. (1-0). Hit right back out to Hefner on the ground this time, and the throw to first is in time. So another 1-2-3 inning for Drew Welk, who's looked really sharp. All balls hit to Hefner. L6, L6. And 6-3 goes the Bucs here. We head to the top half of the 4th inning. Still nothing doing for both sides. Sarhat ready to take them out again when we come back.
Back here in Anchorage with the Bucs and the Pilots, scoreless through 3 innings. Mike Sarhat back out on the mound after an extremely short rest, in large part due to the man at the plate. Luke Hefner caught 2 lineouts and fielded a ground ball in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Takes this one low.
And obviously would like to have some run support, but I'm sure he's glad he doesn't have much time between innings. He's kind of able to just get it back right out there.
1-0 is hit hard out to right field. but right at Andrew Lamb for the first out. Ball on a line, and we've seen balls on a line from both teams, and it seems like fielders have just been positioned well. Just 2 hits for these 2 clubs combined.
Yeah, perfect positioning for Lamb. Broke in a little bit, which is understandable because of that outfield wall out there, but more so than other balls we've seen, that one did have a little bit more carry, but it still got knocked down by that wall out there, and it was why Lamb made such an easy play.
So now Dylan Marks, who flew out to Andrew Lamb back in the first inning. Marks playing second base today for the Pilots. After him, it'll be Luke Stolga, the left fielder. That one misses, so 2-0 to Marks.
And we talked about it before. Sarhat's just done a great job of getting the Pilots guys to put these balls in play. Doesn't need the strikeout.
Finds the inside corner that time, 2-1. And because of that, pitch count's looking phenomenal. 36 pitches so far through 4 1/3, or 3 1/3, excuse me. 2-1. Misses low. Just a reminder that pitch count on the scoreboard for those of you watching at home updates after each batter.
Yep.
Got to add pitches up of the at-bat. This one's hit right at Sarhat. Able to glove it. Walks halfway to first before tossing over to Eisenstadt for the second out, and that was pretty reminiscent of how things ended on Sunday in that combined no-hitter.
Yep, look what I found. Right back to him. Can't ask for anything easier.
That one hit a little bit harder than the one to end things on Sunday, but no problems for Sarhat, who's shown good ability to field his position. And now Luke Stolga comes to the plate, flew out to Peyton Knowles to start things in the second inning for the Pilots. Low.
And we've seen Sarhat get into some deeper counts through these first couple of innings, but he's honestly gotten bailed out a little bit by these Pilots just swinging the bat a lot. And I shouldn't say bailed out like Sarhat, wouldn't be an out if they didn't hit the ball, but it helps out a good bit, and he's putting balls in the zone that are hittable, but they're just tough to find a hole, and I think that goes to show you that Sarhat just knows where to place these balls.
Oh, second hit by pitch so far for Sarhat. Looked like it hit Stolga in the back, although maybe closer towards that shoulder, because I saw him holding that left hand out a little bit awkwardly right after he got hit, so maybe stung him. Maybe hit a weird nerve or something, but we'll hope that he's all right.
Yeah, long walk to first base, but he looks to be okay, and it's unfortunate for Sarhat because he's really trying to land that breaking ball. We've seen a couple of spinners that have ended up in the back or at least the shoulder of some of these Pilots players, and almost one hit another guy. So he could have 3 hit by pitches right now. He's pretty lucky just to have those 2, but those were very not close to the plate at all, and something that he just needs to spin that breaking ball a little bit more.
Yeah, both hit by pitches to righties. Missing this time. Almost hit the lefty like you talked about. So now 1 on with 2 outs for Brendan Shanahan. And this is the man who was hit by a pitch as that other victim for the Pilots. 1-0 fouled straight back.
Ball is brought to you by ABC Alaska.
So now 1-1 the count. To Brendan Shanahan. Stolga over there at first. Sarhat just barely missing the outside corner that time. Runner goes. Pitch is called, a ball, throw down to second. Just a bit late. Good throw from Brody Briggs, and that enabled Christian Powell to apply the tag right on the foot of Stolga, but still not in time.
Yeah, it looks like he just didn't have a lot on that one. Not a bad throw at all. Just from the angle on one knee, it's really hard to get a lot of power on that, and it just didn't really look like he had that much.
3-1 misses. So a 5-pitch walk to Shanahan after the hit by pitch to Stolga. And now 2 men aboard with 2 outs for Jack Dorn.
Yeah, and just that command for Sarhat, like we said, has been bailed out for now. A little bit surprised we're almost through 4 innings and he doesn't have a walk. I know the 2 hit by pitches, but now as that first walk was, got behind in some counts, got to full counts, but like I said, got bailed out by these Pilots hitters who are eager to hit, but have been really good and tempting pitches from Sarhat. So hats off to him for kind of working around that if he doesn't have the command like he thought he would.
Pitch is low to Dorn. Dorn grounded out to first on a great play by Tommy Eisenstadt back in the second inning. Pitch is called a strike. Stolga at second, Shanahan at first. Pilots with a little something brewing with 2 outs in the top of the fourth. Sarhat looking to put that threat to rest. 1-1 to Dorn. Hit out to right center field. Ranging and missing the ball is Hunsaker. That's going to get past him and over to Lamb. 1 run scores. Here comes the second runner. The throw is high, but Shanahan's tagged out.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no. They say Briggs dropped the ball. So a couple tough plays for the Bucs defensively. Hunsaker having the ball go under his glove, and then Briggs dropping the ball on the tag, and 2 runs are going to score for the Bucs for the Pilots, on that one. It seemed like a harmless inning, 2 outs, nobody on, and suddenly it's 2 runs for the Pilots.
Yeah, and that's a tough one to score because he's coming in on that ball. He doesn't make contact with it with his glove, but it's something that is definitely catchable. I think because of how shallow it was, even though he's shallow in the outfield, I think it has to go as a hit, unfortunately.
A little bit of tough luck for the Bucs defensively. And now the first pitch swinging is Knight. Burns bobbles this one. Quickly has to make the throw to first and is able to recover. So great job by Will Burns to limit the damage. The Pilots score 2 to get things going in the score department here in Anchorage. It's 2-0 through 3.5.
In the top half of the fourth.
Back in Anchorage, Bucs looking to respond after 2 runs from the Pilots in the top of the fourth. Thanks to that 2 RBI single from Jack Dorn. Not the cleanest play defensively for the Bucs, but we've seen time and time again this year when the pitching gives up a couple runs, these bats usually respond pretty much right away.
Yeah, done a really good job at that in past games, recent games, that ball's outside. But yeah, tough play out there for Hunsaker. Broke back, which is always the right play, but that ball just keeps dying on you, and he just never really had a play at it. If he maybe came in crack of the bat, he would have, but it's so tough, and it goes against every single rule that you're always taught, Will, is you got to break back first.
Yeah, we've talked about it over and over again. These balls just seem to drop straight out of the air. Can make it really tough on these outfielders no matter how shallowly they're playing, because you're tracking the ball the whole way and you almost have to, in your head, overrun what you would normally run to as a spot because that ball just drops so quickly. So 2-1 to Carlone. Definitely a good option to get things started in the bottom of the fourth for the Bucs. Now finds himself ahead 3-1.
Yeah, the biggest thing is getting that leadoff runner on for the Bucs, and close to it right here. Carlone just get himself on any way he can, and you've got the meat of the order right up after you.
Flew out to left in the first inning. Takes ball 4. So a leadoff walk for the Bucs. Great recipe to get things brewing. Brings up Tommy Eisenstadt, who, like we mentioned, coming into today, 8 for 16. 2 walks, 4 RBIs. It went straight up in the air to Bo Rico in the first inning. Looking at the least, move Carlone over to second here. Will Burns waiting on deck. Key part of the order for the Bucs. Swings at the first pitch and hits it out to center. Logan Sanders has this one pretty easily. Carlone going to have to go back to first, so a 1-pitch out for Eisenstadt. Unable to get anything going in terms of moving Carlone over. Brings up Will Burns, who grounded out to Dylan Marks. His first time to the plate. Throw over to first. We've seen Carlone demand a lot of throws over there so far this season.
He's a great base runner. Maybe not the fastest, but those long legs, he's able to read the ball well, and he's taken a couple of bags that he probably shouldn't have.
I believe we've even seen him steal third, so Burns to the plate with Carlone over there at first, still waiting his first pitch from Welk. Finally, here it comes, and it misses.
You really just want to avoid the double play. Burns has got good wheels, but you hit it right up to second. There's almost no choice, no matter how fast you are.
Fouls this one off. Burns an even 9 for 18 now, including that ground out in the second inning. We've seen these Bucs bats just be fantastic so far this year, and the pitching can hold the Pilots to 2. Bucs should have more than enough time to come back here as we're just in the 4th inning. Well, Welk has looked good. Pounded the zone, 21 balls, 28 strikes, and just 1 hit so far for the Bucs. Pitch is outside.
Burns, one of those guys that has great plate discipline with 5 walks, so that is just behind Zane Kelly, who has 6.
2-1, hit out to center again. This time Sanders going to have to come to his right, but it hangs up for him, and throw back to first. Came a little bit quicker than Carlone had thought. Had to hustle back there, but in safely. So both outs of the inning so far from Logan Sanders in center field, and we mentioned just 1 hit so far for the Bucs. It was from the man at the plate, Andrew Lamb. Hit one hard out to right. Dorn made a great effort at it, but just trapped it off the grass out there.
And I'm sure Drew Welk will take that if that's the only hit for the Bucs. A hit like that could have been caught, I guess you could say. Really tough play out there, but something that it's not a super hard base hit. Especially against this Bucs offense, you'll take anything you can get.
Ground ball foul. If Lamb can reach safely, it'll be Peyton Knowles coming up next. After the day off, Bucs bats taking a little bit of extra time to get things going. 0-1 the count to Lamb. Bounces this one foul.
A little early on that breaking ball, it seems. See if he can wait back, shorten his hands up, and maybe poke one opposite field, or if he gets one on the hands, he can pull it to right. But now down 0-2, you don't know what you're seeing here.
And we know that Carlone's got wheels over there at first. He'll be going off the crack of the bat with 2 outs. He's going with the pitch, which is outside. Throw is way off of second base, and stopped well by Dylan Marks. Fooled me. He kind of looked to the outfield, tried to get Carlone to take third base, and would have turned and made the throw over to Chase Knight, but great job that time backing it up.
Yeah, nice little deke over there, or at least attempt at it.
So now 1-2 the count with a runner in scoring position for the Bucs. Breaking ball stays high. Deuce is wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And Carlone on second in the bottom of the 4th inning with the Pilots leading 2-0 against the hometown Bucs, at least designated as so for today's game. Fouled away, so we'll do it again.
Yeah, you could get into some trouble with their fans if you call them the hometown team.
Two teams that don't necessarily like each other all that much, having to share the stadium. Big rivalry here in Anchorage. 2-2 stays high.
Good at bat, 0-2 now, full count. Lamb has done a really good job. And looking at him on the season, just 2 walks to 2 strikeouts, and there's 5 hits and 11 at bats. So he does have a good eye. He's shown it before, and he's shown it right now, even if he can't get a walk.
Swings at this one and hits it out to left center. Whose play will it be? That's going to get... Oh, what a diving grab! Luke Stolga, faced straight towards the wall, has to make an over-the-shoulder grab, keeping Lamb from extra bases and keeping Carlone from scoring. Allowed third out, makes a scoreless bottom of the 4th. We head to the 5th, still 2-0. Top of the 5th inning, still Sarhat on the bump for the Bucs, with Hunter Backstrom coming to the plate. Josh Hankins maybe expecting bunt, playing in on the turf grass as that one misses high, and that catch to end the inning by Luke Stolga, really impressive over the shoulder on today of all days, mourning the loss of Willie Mays. That over the shoulder catch, even though it was in left field, certainly paying homage.
Yep, shades of the say hey kid. But yeah, just another one that's lost that is really unfortunate. We've seen lately passing a lot of great baseball players, but that one definitely hits close to home. Not necessarily for us, but in the league as well. San Francisco, and Willie Mays is just a great player, a pioneer, I guess you could say, during his time.
Definitely.
The athleticism, the arm, the bat. I mean everything. Yeah. It's a 5-tool guy, and back then not many 5-tool players existed, so glad that he lived a long life. 93, I believe, was how old he was, so definitely paying our respects to him, and glad we're playing baseball today. That's huge. I'm sure you want everyone to be playing ball.
Pitch is called a strike. Looked like Hankins was right to come in as Backstrom showed bunt before pulling it away, but that play by Stolga, really impressive. Lamb was destined for extra bases. This one hit out to left. Diving grab by Peyton Knowles. How about the left fielders today from both teams?
How about them? What a grab out there. So your corner outfielders are making Hunsaker over there in center a little bit jealous he's not getting a diving play like that. But wow, that ball is so tough to grab, Will. It is tailing away from you. It is coming down because of that outfield wall. You can see the wind blowing right to left. It is so tough to make that play. It is not just coming in. It's doing a lot of things on that.
Yeah, the ball was dipping for sure, and a great play by Knowles. But going back to that play by Stolga, Lamb probably thought he had a double as that one's fouled away, and would have scored Carlone from second with ease. Instead, still a 0 on the scoreboard for the Bucs. Got a couple of runs to make up after 2 in the top of the 4th. This one grounded up the middle. Ranging over is Burns, and he makes the play. Great stretch over there by Eisenstadt.
Yep, able to keep the bag. Great play. Really good one by Burns over there. Just able to go up the middle. We've seen tons of balls up the middle, but have just not gotten through because the middle infielders have been there every time.
So now Logan Sanders, who's gone the other way twice, but unsuccessful both times, over to Andrew Lamb in right field. Just 2 hits for the Pilots, 1 hit for the Bucs as Sanders fouls off the first pitch.
And after last inning for Sarhat, you'd love a quick 1-2-3, get your confidence back up, even if it's his last inning going 5.
Want to go out on a positive note.
Exactly. And 2 runs is nothing to be ashamed of, especially with just 2 hits given up.
Great breaking ball that time, starting it up and in and dropping it into the zone. Way out ahead of Logan Sanders, 0-2 now with 2 away in the top of the 5th. Struck him out swinging. That one called by Vic Massey and knew it before the pitch was even released. A 1-2-3 inning from Mike Sarhat. We head to the bottom of the 5th. Bucs looking to get on the board. Both pitchers going into the 5th inning here at Mulcahy Stadium. Drew Welk comes out with 58 pitches under his belt. He'll face 6, 7, and 8 for the Bucs, the first of which is Peyton Knowles, grounded into a fielder's choice in the bottom of the 2nd inning.
And like we said, great inning for Sarhat after that last one. Just really wanted to make a statement, a 1-2-3, finishing off with a swinging strikeout. It's exactly what you want. And some guys are roaming around there in the bullpen, but I really wouldn't be surprised to see him come out for the 6th.
0-1 is tipped into the mitt of Rico. And yeah, not sure if that is it for Sarhat. If it is, definitely going out on a positive note. And if it's not, he should be confident after such a successful inning. Knowles stays alive.
Yeah, and I think that now someone would have to be up in the pen. I just saw Sarhat come out of the clubhouse. That doesn't necessarily mean much. But with nobody up in the pen actively throwing right now, I think you'd have to say that Sarhat is still going to be in there for the 6th. And Will, why not? I mean, he's only here for so much time. Why don't you let him go like a normal starting pitcher? 6, 7 if he can. Well, I mean, it's just no harm, no foul. But then again, you don't let him go, and then you have more opportunities to use him later, maybe for a couple times.
This one out of play down the left field line. The only argument I'd have, just to play devil's advocate, it's a light week for the Bucs in terms of number of games, and you don't want any of these pitchers to end up accidentally going 5 days or more unless they're a starter without any game time. So off day yesterday, off day tomorrow, as this one's hit up the middle, and a great diving stop by Hefner. Gets up and makes the throw. He had no business getting to that ball. Dove and got it off the short hop, quickly got to his feet and made the peg across to Shanahan. My goodness, Hefner's had a game.
That was a great play. Flashing the leather indeed, as that ball skips up just right into his glove and makes a great play over there.
But like I was saying, off day yesterday, off day tomorrow for the Bucs, another off day on Saturday, so not a ton of baseball for the Anchorage Bucs this week, as the first offering to Hankins is called a strike. But we'll see how Springman, Montez, and the rest of the staff manages things. 0-1 misses outside, and like we mentioned at the top, the Bucs will next be in action on Thursday against the Chinooks, and the Pilots are playing the Chinooks tomorrow, having played them yesterday. Pitch is low, so a lot of Anchorage versus Chinooks in this part of the schedule, whether that's the Anchorage Bucs or the Anchorage Glacier Pilots. 1-2, grounded down the first base line. Nice play by Shanahan, able to put a glove to it and step on first for the second out. So one unassisted retires Hankins, and now Brody Briggs comes to the plate. Hit the ball hard the other way, but right at Hefner. It seems like everything's been at Hefner today.
Yeah, tons of balls out there. But yeah, he's done a great play. He's made everything. And he's just looked really sharp.
Briggs takes a strike.
And looking really sharp is True Welk. I mean, he has managed, this Bucs offense so well. And yes, he has no strikeout, but the same thing or similar thing for Sarhat. He's just getting balls on the ground, getting balls in the air, getting these Bucs guys to roll over on it and to pop the balls up into the air, into the outfield. And he's just looked super sharp here and does not need a strikeout to retire these guys. And frankly, coming into it, he probably knew that with how disciplined the Bucs have been. Not that many strikeouts. He knew that they'd be putting the ball in play.
Pitch is called a strike, so now 1-2 to Briggs. Briggs can reach. It'll be Powell next and then to the top. Hopefully a little two-out rally for the Bucs after the Pilots delivered one in the top of the fourth. Briggs stays alive.
And 68 pitches for Welk, and that's pretty good here through 5 2/3 of an inning. If you're the Bucs, definitely just want to try to get him out of the game, but the Pilots have the guys to back up Welk.
That one misses, so now 2-2. Deuce is wild here in the bottom of the fifth inning. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs with Briggs at the plate for the Bucs. Trying to extend this home half of the fifth inning. Swings at this one and grounds it to Marks. Scoops it up and tosses to first. So a 1-2-3 home half of the fifth inning. Still 2-0 Pilots as we head to the sixth. Still Sarhat for the Bucs in the top of the sixth inning. Pilots lead it 2-0. We weren't sure if Sarhat would get another chance, but after a lightning fast top of the fifth, Springman, Monty, and Co. say go back out there. So the tall righty will continue just 60 pitches through 5 innings for him. He'll face Hefner, Marks, and Stolga. Saw Luke Hefner make an incredible play at shortstop in the bottom of the fifth. And for Hefner, one of 3 strikeout victims for Sarhat, also flew out to Andrew Lamb over in right field. Big swing and a miss from Hefner. Lost his balance on that one.
Sure did. And those 2 runs for Sarhat, just a little unfortunate, a tough play out there in center field for Hunsaker. Can't really blame him with how the balls have been knuckling down, and also just.
Well, Hunsaker's going to have a chance this time. Has to retreat, but he's got it. First out for Sarhat.
And I was going to say, a tough play by Briggs. The throw was high to home plate, had it in his glove, and it just popped out. And that's something that obviously you want to corral that, but it's a tough play all around. So just unfortunate for Sarhat. I guess you could definitely say 1 run at least should be on there with that play out in the outfield, but 2 runs coming across could have been limited to just the 1, but it's still a fantastic game so far for him.
Finds the outside corner. It's one of those situations where the runs will be earned because there was technically no error on the play, but it's one of those like errorless errors, if you know what I'm saying. And defense did let him down just a hair. Check down to first. Marks did not go around.
And Sarhat's super, like we said, super nice guy. He's probably really understanding. I'm sure Hunsaker came over, told him, maybe I could have had that.
Grounder over to Burns. Off the heel of the glove and up in the air. Not going to carry him too far away, so Marks will stay at first, but an unfortunate hop for Burns over there at short.
Yeah, a surprising error over there at short by Burns. Doesn't do that a lot. I think on that play, yes, it's hit pretty hard, but you might as well just try to field it straight up, try to go backhand with it. Not like he's trying to be too fancy. A lot of times it's hit super hard. It's just an instinct to flip the glove over. But if it's hit to you right there like that, I would turn the glove over maybe, just try to make a play like that. But could have just definitely been the hop and not his fault at all.
Yeah, off the heel of the glove that time. Pitches low to Stolga, who was hit by a pitch in his last at-bat. Good to see that he's been able to stay in the ball game. 1 out and a runner on first. That's Dylan Marks over there. Now 2-0 to Stolga.
I think for Sarhat, you've been doing a great job of getting the ball put in play, and here's another opportunity where you can get out of the inning facing the minimum. You just get a ground ball. And recently we've seen a lot more pop flies, but a ground ball just last inning from Bo Rico.
Now 3-0. Marks over there at first, 2 for 2 on stolen base attempts so far in ABL 24. But Sarhat's got to worry about Stolga now. Has fallen way behind 3-0. Now one misses as well. So a 4-pitch walk to Stolga after the Burns error had Marks at first, and now it's 2 aboard with 1 away for Brendan Shanahan, the other hit by pitch victim of Sarhat. Walked his last time to the plate, so no at-bats so far today for Shanahan, and Bucs pitching coach Tim Montez is going to go have a chat with Sarhat.
Springman's talking with the home plate umpire. I'm wondering if it could maybe be it for Sarhat. Maybe he could already tell the home plate umpire they're changing to another pitcher. Montez is doing that slow walk. You know what that usually means. It looks like it's Hyder up there in the bullpen for the Bucs. And yeah, that is going to be it for Sarhat.
So great appearance from Sarhat, starting to sputter a little bit in the top of the 6th inning. We'll see if Hyder can clean things up when we come back. Anchorage, Alaska for this Anchorage rivalry game. Pilots and Bucs, top of the 6th inning, and Mike Sarhat makes way. Rylan Hyder, to the mound for the Bucs. Last pitched in the Bucs' last league game. That was on Wednesday against the Chinooks. Pitched the 8th inning, 1 hit, 1 walk, couple of Ks for the sidearm righty.
Yeah, he's pitched probably the most out of the bullpen for anyone. Maybe Arnett has pitched a little bit more. On here it says 3 appearances. We know 4 appearances because he pitched in the first game versus the Pilots. Ran into a little bit of trouble. There was an error on the infield and a couple blue hits. Scored some runs. So he would have at least, I think, 1 or 2 earned runs. I'm definitely not more than 2. But here he has no earned runs given, or just 1 hit given up. Actually, that's it.
Finds the outside corner to Shanahan. Comes in a tough spot. Marks at second. Stolga at first. Trying to keep this deficit at just 2 runs. Both those runs coming in the top of the 4th inning for the Pilots. Reminder, Hyder out of Washington State, a Washington native. 0-1, tipped into the mid of Briggs. So Hyder quickly ahead 0-2 to Shanahan with Jack Dorn waiting on deck.
I think Hyder's just the perfect guy you want on this. A guy with experience so far here, 4 1/3. Like I said, has pitched some of the most of the bullpen. Arnett has a little bit more experience so far this summer, but he's got that wipeout stuff.
Just staying alive is Shanahan, able to get a piece of that one. Can't close the line quite yet on Sarhat, but we saw some really encouraging stuff from him.
Yeah, he looked really good, and that command at the end just got to him a little bit, but those 2 runs scored, and like I said, could have just been that 1, but gave up 2 hits. That's really good.
First competitive start for him in a long time. Swing and a miss, got him swinging.
That's what I said. He's got that strikeout stuff. He's got, the sweeping slider. It is so hard to hit, and just that wipeout stuff. That's what's going to help him when he gets thrown in these games with 2 on and 1 out. And now looking at it, you get 2 on, 2 out. And a guy at the plate who is, it's one of the only hits for the Pilots. So a tough batter.
Responsible for both their runs batted in on that single to center. Fouls this one out of play down the left field line. Single in the top of the 4th, scoring Shanahan and Stolga. Stolga the man at first right now with Marks at second, but Hyder looking to take care of things with Dorn. Give these Bucs bats a chance to get things going in a deficit of just 2 runs. Big swing and a miss.
And I'd be interested to see if, Hyder can make quick work of the Pilots here, if he'd be out next inning for the first week or so games, or maybe this is a whole season thing. The pitchers kind of know when they're going to throw, know how many pitchers are going to be throwing. So I wouldn't be surprised either way, especially because Sarhat did eat up maybe 1 more inning.
Got him swinging on a ball in the dirt. Briggs will make the toss to first, so Hyder comes into a difficult spot, gets both Dorn and Shanahan swinging, so still just the 2-run lead for the Pilots as the Bucs come back to the plate. 2-0, the Pilots lead it. New pitcher on for them. It'll be number 39, Jace Russell. Only one appearance so far this season, a late addition to the roster, and he pitched on Wednesday, 2 innings, 3 hits, couple of earned runs and a walk, but did have 3 strikeouts in just the 2 innings of work. But we know these Bucs bats not very prone to the strikeout.
Nope, not at all. And big shoes to fill. A great game by Welk against this really tough Bucs offense that has been tamed so far. Just 1 hit, no runs.
Bucs just need some base runners. Really haven't gotten much going. Christian Powell will be the first man to the plate. Lined out to Hefner over at short in his only plate appearance, and it's not often we are in the bottom of the 6th of one of these Bucs games and have a player who's only been to the plate once, albeit Powell is batting 9th, but even still, usually got these guys going through the lineup quickly. Not the case today. Ground ball up the middle, gloved by Russell. A little underhand to first, 1 pitch, 1 out for the reliever.
Yeah, and if you're the Bucs, you just really want to see a lot of pitches with the new pitcher coming on, and obviously if you get a good pitch to hit, like I'm sure Powell thought he did, might as well try to drive it. But realistically, just trying to see a lot of pitches from these guys and see if they can get themselves worn out a little bit. And besides that 1 hit, just 1 walk given up by Welk. That was back in the 4th inning, and that was the leadoff batter. And then he got back-to-back-to-back flyouts, so 3 in a row, and he was out of that inning no problem.
Yeah, like you said, just the hit and the walk. Interestingly, no strikeouts for Welk, but still able to pitch 5 scoreless for these Pilots, called strike to Hunsaker. Takes this one low, and only 2 base runners for the Bucs, going to make it hard to score, but we've seen this offense explode. Hopefully that can happen quickly. Bottom of the 6th inning. Nothing doing so far. 1-1, fouled back. Carlone on deck. After Carlone would be Eisenstadt if we can get that far. One-two to the Bucs center fielder. Ooh, came inside and no swing. I thought that hit him. He's ready to toss the bat, and now he does. Home plate umpire checked over at third to make sure he didn't swing, but that one came in and hit him in the leg. He appears to be A-okay, but the Bucs will take a base runner any way they can get him.
Exactly. Yeah, he was close to swinging, but a good call by the third base umpire over there. We remind you we have a full set, 4 umpires. I don't think we've seen that yet.
We've seen 3 for each and every game so far.
That's very interesting. I just wonder how that works out. I guess you just have one guy who's not really busy and just can afford to go out there.
Runner goes, pitches swung on and missed. Throw down to second. They got him. Great throw by Bo Rico over there. They're able to get Hunsaker, and as quickly as the Bucs get a base runner, that base runner's put out.
Yeah, and it was a patented hit and run, and just unfortunately didn't work out on both sides.
So now 0-1 to Carlone with the bases empty for the Bucs, and he's quickly behind 0-2. Two away and 2 strikes for the Bucs. Pitch is way up and away, and just when it seemed like something was brewing, not to be. Carlone, the last hope for the Bucs in the bottom of the 6th, still looking for the second hit of the game. Carlone has walked, so one of the few base runners for these Bucs so far. 1-2 the count. Similar spot as the last. Not something we've seen from the Bucs very often. Low scoring day, but it's baseball. Can't just expect to show up to the park and be successful. Never know what's going to happen. 3 straight balls to Carlone after 2 strikes to start things out from Russell. So count runs full with Tommy Eisenstadt waiting on deck. See if Carlone can give him a chance here in the 6th. Here comes the full count pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. So Jace Russell able to work around the hit by pitch. Bucs still with just one hit through 6 innings, and largely because of that, trail 2-0. Back here in Anchorage for some play-by-play. Here's Vic.
Thank you, Will. Hyder still out on the mound for the Bucs. Looked really sharp as he came in for relief just last inning. And he floats that one off the plate for ball one. But back-to-back swinging strikeouts got Shanahan and Jack Dorn out. And he was on the end of the game with 2 on and just 1 out. Back-to-back Ks. And just a really light and easy inning for him as that one is outside again. 2 balls, no strikes.
Yeah, threw all strikes to those 2 batters. 7 strikes coming in the 6th inning.
2-0. Just a bit outside. I'm noticing now, I don't know how I haven't noticed it before, Hyder is one of those guys, also one of those righties who sets up all the way on the right side of the rubber. Usually guys set up on the left side if you're a righty. That's just kind of how I was always taught to pitch, and that's how I was always taught, as that one floats outside again, a 4-pitch walk. So that was interesting for me to see there. Seen a lot of pitchers, even in MLB, we talked about this a couple of days ago, all the way on the left side, just that toe, barely touching it. It's for maximum spin on breaking balls and stuff like that. But for Hyder, pitching at his angle, it might help him that he's on the right side.
Just makes his angle even more aggressive, whether it's a righty or a lefty at the plate. He's already coming from the third base side of the rubber, now even more so.
And that one gets away from Briggs, but slingshots around the umpire.
Yeah, I think it caught his foot. Good break for the Bucs.
So no advancement from the runner Chase Knight. Hunter Backstrom is the batter now. Bucs trying to roll a double play. Not done that today. It's a great time for it as Josh Hankins comes in on the grass, the turf grass, waiting for a bunt. Ground ball out to second. Powell has one play, and it's to first. He makes it. So 1 down. They got the ground ball, but not sharp enough to turn 2. But Hyder will take it. 1 down here.
Yeah, not sharp enough at all. That ball, slow roller to Powell, and wouldn't have had any chance of getting Chase Knight over at second, but able to make the play and get the first out of the frame.
So Bo Rico, the 9-hole batter, who is grounded out to short both times. Burns been pretty busy over there. Has just that one error. It's his first of the season. 0-1 count quickly. Hyder up that 4-pitch walk, really pounding the zone now. Ground ball foul.
And that was really in on the hands of Rico. Got to be tough for these batters, even on the fastballs. Doesn't really matter what pitch it is from Hyder, figuring out where that ball's going to be when it gets towards the swing path. Coming at such an angle.
No balls, 2 strikes. Here it is from Hyder. Just a bit outside. Another day off for the Bucs tomorrow.
Yep.
So, and another one on Saturday. So not a lot this week, but they got a gauntlet of games. 1-2 right up the middle, through the legs of Hyder. Getting the green light is Chase Knight. Here comes the throw. It's in time, and he is out by a mile.
Didn't even attempt to slide, knew his fate, but smart play by Rico going over to second.
And Will, I don't know about you, but I am super confused of why Coach Price was giving him the green light at third base. It seems
We've
like
seen that a couple of times.
it was a pretty hard hit ball. Didn't really skip up off the mound and slow the ball down at all. And Hunsaker is playing shallow to begin with, has a good arm. I mean, he's obviously in center field. I'm just a little confused at why he thought that there might be a play there.
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah, and that ball from Hunsaker wasn't perfectly on a line. Obviously, a perfect throw out there, but it skipped up a little bit, and it still was in plenty of time. So that one's downstairs to Logan Sanders, the leadoff batter.
I mean, he was like maybe 65% of the way home.
Oh, yeah, if that. 1-0 fouled off his hands, but Tommy Eisenstadt giving ground might have a play and just runs out of room, it looks like.
Yeah, tough for us to see from this angle, but kind of relying on the reactions from the players on the field.
But that ball skipped right by Hunsaker. That ball skipped right by home plate. It's seemingly right after Knight turned to the corner to three. So
yeah,
right after he stepped on third base, it seemed like that ball was already into the infield. 1-1 misses downstairs.
But unfortunate from Hyder to not have that play fielded on the infield, was just placed in a tough spot. Like you said, went through his legs, and then Burns making the effort, but great throw from Hunsaker and a questionable base running decision, not the first we've seen today.
2-1, and I think that one is popped up into foul ground. Eisenstadt might have a play, and he does! Hyder's pumped up. We can't see it over here, but Tommy Eisenstadt, I guess he made a great play. So he ends the inning. Hyder gets some help out from Hunsaker, and like I said, Eisenstadt making a good play in foul ground. We head to the bottom half of the seventh inning. Time to stretch here in Anchorage and time to put up some runs as well. The Bucs bats coming up when we come back. 2-0 lead for the Pilots. 2-0 Pilots here in Anchorage. The Bucs, some good defensive plays last inning. Hunsaker, a great ball home, and he gunned Chase Knight out by a mile. And then it was Tommy Eisenstadt, who apparently made a great play in foul ground. We can't see it from our view, but Hyder was all pumped up. You don't see a ton of emotion from him, so I'm sure it was a really good play, and he got himself out of the inning with no runs scored, no further runs scored. Just a 2-0 lead, and the right guys at the plate. It's Tommy Eisenstadt. Chance to help his team out a little bit more like he did just last half inning to end it. The great grab.
Yeah, and talking about those reactions, they were a little bit delayed, which makes me think that maybe he laid out or maybe reached over a railing and they were waiting to see if he had it, and we were waiting just like them.
1-0 is inside. 2 balls, no strikes, and if you're the Bucs, you got that leadoff guy on in Cole Carlone back in the 4th inning, but besides that, have not had a leadoff batter on since then, and you really need one now. Lone base hit from Andrew Lamb back in the second inning was with one out, and now a fly ball to center field, but right in line with Logan Sanders, and he makes that for out number one.
Seems like every ball off these Bucs bats are right at a fielder of the Pilots.
Just unfortunate luck, as that will bring up Will Burns, another guy you would like to see up in this situation. Just a 2-run lead, so all it takes is a couple base runners and
or even one, maybe a bloop and a blast.
A bloop and a blast, yeah, something in the gap. That would be great. That one's downstairs, 1-0.
And only 3 hits for the Pilots. We were wondering if maybe that factored in Rich Price's decision to send the runner home, but even knowing they haven't put a lot of balls in play, still questionable.
1-0 catches a corner. Burns has grounded out to second and has flown out to center. Sanders has been really busy out there. A lot of F8s.
Most of them fairly easy plays, though. Hasn't had to make a huge run at many of them.
1 ball, 1 strike. Hit right to second base. Dylan Marks is there.
I mean, come on.
Nothing doing for the Bucs bats. That was unlucky, and he's able to get it up just a little bit higher, and that's over Marks' head. But F8, L4, that brings up Andrew Lamb, the right fielder, who has the lone base knock for the Bucs, and it was almost caught out there by Jack Dorn in right field, and he just trapped it into his glove.
Bucs a few inches away from being no hit right now.
Yeah, taste their own. Yeah. Great minds, man, great minds. First pitch to Lamb is outside. But to finish that off, taste of their own medicine with the 7-inning combined no-hitter from the Bucs just on Sunday. Sandrose started that one out. Sarhat closed it out. With Rummery and Dew in the middle. Check swing. They don't appeal. It's a ball.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think that was close.
Not
almost
at all.
a check swing.
Exactly. Wind still blowing out right to left field. Nothing crazy. Lamb with a 2-0 count, trying to start a 2-out rally. The pitch is in there, called strike.
Hey, 2 outs is how the Pilots got things going for them in the 4th. Why not us?
On deck, Peyton Knowles would love to get a chance to hit here in the bottom half of the 7th. Reason by here in Anchorage. Ground ball out to first. Shanahan has it. And the flip to first is in time. Another 1-2-3 inning for the Bucs. This time, Jace Russell giving it to him. So, nothing doing for the Bucs here in the bottom half of the 7th. The Pilots will try again and get some more insurance. It's a 2-0 lead here in Anchorage, and it's the Pilots who have it. Welcome back. 2-0 lead here still for the Pilots, looking to add on. A new pitcher on is Eli Lipinski, but Rylan Hyder did a perfect job in relief, Will.
Yeah, for Hyder coming in with 2 runners on, would get out of that inning and then pitch another 1 2/3, 1 hit, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts for Hyder.
First one swung on and missed by Lipinski, who's just been in one game, Will. We talked about he's also hit a little bit, but yeah, just that one game for Lipinski. Not much on him.
Yeah, back on June 7th, 1 hit in 1 inning, no runs, no walks, no strikeouts. But for Lipinski, I think he did pitch either in the All-Star game or over the weekend. We've definitely seen him more recently than that.
He's pitched, I'm pretty sure he started in that All-Star game, and he looked really, really good. Of course, it's a team full of high school guys, but they're all All-Stars. I mean, they're all there for a reason, and most of those guys, or at least a handful of them, will be in the same shoes as these guys, potentially playing for the Bucs. We talked with the general manager, Sean Maltby. He's recruiting guys as we speak to play next year. Yeah, no, never stops. And so for Lipinski, yeah, you do really well against those guys, but those guys are going to be, a lot of those guys will be in your same shoes, so nothing to hang your hat on.
And Hefner at the plate, although he hasn't had a hit today, he's definitely been one of the star players for the Pilots because of his defensive work.
Yeah, out there at short, he's had a lot of plays. He's made just pretty much every one, it seems, and they've all been not super easy for him. Some line drives, some ground balls, flashing the leather all over the place. 2-2 is roped into right field. Andrew Lamb retreats and has some room for out number 1.
I mean, that really goes to show this Alaska air, because I think you and I definitely thought that ball was hit pretty hard, and so did Lamb, taking a few steps back, but then just died out there and right.
Yeah, I guess you have to hit it more on the line, try to get it deeper into that gap over there. I'm just not really sure how you would go about trying to change up your swing. Not change up your swing, but change up your approach. Instead of maybe trying to hit line drives, maybe try to get under it, or try to get on top of it a little bit more. Try to poke it through a hole. So that one's upstairs to the batter, Dylan Marks. He reached on an error. Besides that, a ground out and a fly out. Lipinski ready, working from the stretch. No one on. 1-0's cracked foul. Lipinski, a native to Alaska, Wasilla, Alaska, I do believe. Or no, Anchorage, Alaska. I'm not
Diamond
sure
High School.
Wasilla. One of the guys is from there, I'm sure. But yeah, from right here in Anchorage. Sorry about that one. 1-1. Swung on and missed. And I actually got to catch up with Lipinski's dad. He came up to me right here at the ballpark when Lipinski was pitching for the All-Star game. He was telling me that he enjoys listening, and when he can't come, and I'm sure he comes to as many games as he can, especially when he knows that his son is pitching. So, Mr. Lipinski, if you're watching right now, we appreciate you and your kind words to the broadcast, and hope you keep listening. We'll remind you that the live chat is on now, so if anyone would like to put something in the live chat, we already appreciate the people who've responded today, as this is blooped and down into right field, a base hit for Dylan Marks. Was able to hit it off the end of the bat.
Just found a spot, something the Bucs bats haven't been able to find, and that Pilot bat of Dylan Marks just depositing that ball into shallow right.
So Luke Stolga, who's reached twice, one a hit by pitch and one a walk, is also lined out, scored the first run in that interesting play. The fly ball to Hunsaker, just couldn't come up with it, a really tough one. So he had to come really far in to try to get that ball, and of course we say first step is always back, so no shame if that's how it happened for him. It's so hard to read those balls, especially in center field. Tough position to play, so that ball got away from him a little bit. 2 runs were able to score. The first one was Stolga, and then Shanahan, as Stolga ropes this one into left field. That is over the head of Peyton Knowles. Knowles bobbles it now, and they're sending the runner. Here comes the relay. The throw will not be made, and it's now a 3-0 lead here as Luke Stolga puts a drive into that one.
Not sure if Knowles would have had a chance regardless, but struggled to pick that ball up off the gravel, and a third run for the Pilots in a game where the Bucs offense has struggled so much. Feels like a huge add-on run.
So going first to home is Dylan Marks, and it seemed like he was running almost when he realized that that ball would get over the head of Peyton Knowles. And like you mentioned, a bobble out there, but I don't think it would have affected the outcome at home plate. as Eli Lipinski gets a word from his catcher and a new baseball as well. And just talking to Briggs in person and getting to know him a little bit, I think it would be such a nice thing to have a conversation from him on the mound. He's a very easygoing type of guy, not serious at all, laid back, but really cares about baseball, is a really good player. I've always had good conversations with him. But I just couldn't think of a calmer voice and a voice of reason if you're on the mound like Lipinski to hear from a guy like Brody Briggs.
Yeah, even though was just a freshman this year at ASU and didn't see the field in any spring action, seems more mature and more experienced than that. And for Lipinski, it might be it for him. I was going to say it might just be about limiting this to 1 run in the 8th, but I don't know if it's going to be up to him to get that done.
Yeah, there's a righty up in the bullpen for the Bucs. And yeah, that is going to be it. Montez grabs the ball. So that is it for Lipinski. Unfortunate, he just got that one out and a couple of hard hit balls from the Pilots whose bats have been heating up here. So we'll take a little bit of a break. We'll bring you the new pitcher and more. Well, when we return 3-0 here in Anchorage now, the Pilots lead. .3-0 lead now for the Pilots. A new hurler on for the Bucs. That is Brody Purcell, the righty, and we've seen him pitch a lot so far, especially recently. But looking overall so far this summer for our man Brody Purcell, he's played in 3 games where we have 3 appearances.
Feels like more.
Yeah, it feels like more. It probably is. 1-0, 2 saves, 4 innings pitched, 1 hit, 1 run, which was earned. But that's about it from him.
Yeah, his last outing was in the Bucs' last league game on Wednesday against the Chinooks. Pitched the 9th, not a save situation with the Bucs up by 5 runs, but fairly clean inning. Did have a walk, but also a strikeout. No hits, no runs.
He will face Shanahan to start, and then Dorn if Shanahan doesn't get into a double play, as that one comes in and it looks like it hit the hand of Shanahan.
Yeah, definitely the way he's reacting going over to first, grabbing that left hand wrist area. We hope that he's okay.
So first pitch plunks Shanahan. That will bring up Dorn, and if he can reach and doesn't ground into a double play, it will be Chase Knight.
What is that now? 3 hit by pitches for this Bucs staff.
Pretty unusual, especially from Purcell, who's looked really sharp, and him and Hyder have been kind of the go-to guys out of the bullpen for Springman and the Bucs. You've just seen both of them come out of the bullpen a lot. For Jeremiah Arnett, he's come out too, but he's mainly been their longer guy in relief. We've just seen Purcell and Hyder come
Yeah.
in, pitch an inning here and an inning there.
Yes.
1-0 misses again.
Feels like almost every time we come to the park that Purcell's out there on the mound at some point. And why not? He's done well.
Next one is floated out into left field. Peyton Knowles has to come in, and he grabs that. 2 down. Purcell has just been really effective when he's come in. Not a guy that necessarily blows you away, but he's definitely someone that's got the stuff to do it because he's got 2 saves. Of course, Dew has 1. But
Yeah.
Dew's only been put in really 1 game where he could have gotten a save.
Might have been scored a save in a game that it shouldn't have been for Purcell, but he'll take it.
Didn't even think about that. You could be totally right. Sounds like you think that you're pretty sure on that one. I wouldn't be surprised. So the batter now, Chase Knight, takes a called strike. Another arm in the bullpen for the Bucs. Actually looks like it is Jeremiah Arnett. So the 3 guys that the Bucs mainly go to, and you're not surprised to see them go to him today, trying to, keep this lead down to 3 now.
Especially after yesterday, as that one's called a strike, all these guys should be fresh.
Yep.
They'll also have the day off tomorrow, so why not go to some of your best arms?
I think it just goes to show you that they really have a lot of trust in this offense. And yeah, you're only down by now 3 runs, but if you're throwing your best guys out there, you think that your offense has a chance to come back and give you the lead or at least make it interesting. So I think that says a lot about what Springman and Montez want to do here and bring their best guys on. Of course, you do have an off day tomorrow and you have one Saturday, so you could probably get away with throwing these guys. But you never know what you might run into. As that one's a called strike. Brody Purcell makes quick work of the Pilots. He came on with one down and 1 runner on and gets the next 2 guys. A fly out and a swinging strikeout. Leaves one stranded as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. Just 6 outs left for the Bucs. A 3-0 lead still for the Pilots when we come back. Welcome back to Anchorage. 3-0 lead for the Pilots, and a new pitcher on it is Tommy Beam. And talking about Tommy, he is 6'7", 205, so long and lanky. That right-handed pitcher is out of West Virginia University, Will.
Yeah, pitched on Wednesday against the Oilers. 3 innings, just 1 hit, 4 strikeouts. I guess that shouldn't be too surprising with that height coming way over the top to these hitters, and we see a lot of times with those taller pitchers, even if they're not registering super high velocities on the radar guns, it feels faster to the batters coming downhill.
Peyton Knowles stands in and leads it off for the Bucs, takes the ball downstairs, and he's got that kind of whipping motion when he comes over the plate. And it didn't look on that pitch that he was super over the top. I think I got to see it again. That first one missed downstairs, and yeah, he kind of comes sidearm, a little three-quarters motion. And now the difference between him and Hyder, by the way, they both stand on that right part of the rubber, which is a little bit different than what righties are normally taught to be on the left side. But yeah, kind of three-quarters motion. Doesn't come super um, sidearm body-wise with it. Now 3-0 count. Peyton Knowles is in business here, but doesn't come super sidearm with his body. You see Hyder kind of dip his body down, his knee almost, it does touch the ground. But Beam stands more up there and looks like he's coming more over the top as a called strike as he gets it across. But he's definitely a little three-quarters motion on him.
Yeah, and also something to note, new first baseman over there for the Pilots. It'll be Jake Dodge taking over for Brendan Shanahan.
And 3-1 misses up and away. And going back to just taller pitchers in general, you get a lanky guy like him, and the command is the only issue that I don't want to say plagues all of them. Not all tall pitchers have command problems.
Saying, yeah.
But a lot of them, that is their go-to thing and what they struggle with. You got such a long arm,
yes.
and you're really just whipping it out there. With his motion, you could see that command issues might be a little bit of a problem as he gets a strike call. Josh Hankins up to bat.
Yeah, no, it makes sense that there's more, in a longer motion, there's more time for something to go wrong.
Yeah.
And you see that across sports. Taller guys swinging the golf club. Really anything, it makes sense.
No balls, one strike. Nice breaking ball finds the inner half. And you were mentioning at the break that it seemed like the home plate umpire was kind of giving both the inside and outside part of the plate, which we'll take, obviously, for Brody Purcell.
Yeah, at least on that last at-bat with Chase Knight striking out looking, looked like the Bucs and Purcell were getting both sides.
Ball misses downstairs, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now for Sarhat, he is pretty tall too, standing about 6'3". But for him, he has that short arm motion a little bit, so it helps him with his command, being so tall. Chopper right out to the pitcher Beam. He collects, and the underhand tosses in time to get Josh Hankins. But that means Peyton Knowles moves first to second. He's in scoring position. And besides Carlone's stolen base back in the 4th inning, this is just the first time that the Bucs have seen a guy at second base. Hunsaker tried, but was caught stealing by Bo Rico.
Yeah, but I'm sure the Pilots would take that out. Only 5 outs to go for the Bucs, and even if this run's able to come across, need a big inning at some point.
Brody Briggs bats, and he takes a ball. A line out and a ground out. Bucs dugout trying to cheer him on. One ball, no strikes. Here it is. That one's outside again.
And I think this Bucs dugout realizes, hey, their bats can't get anything going. Might as well try and get into the head of Tommy Beam out there. Whoever is on the mound for the Pilots, got to change something.
2 balls, no strikes. Here it is to Briggs. Bowed back out of play. After Briggs, it'll be Christian Powell, but it looks like Ryan Callahan has now grabbed a bat, and he will pinch hit.
For the Bucs, would love to have Briggs and Callahan feed the top of this order, get something going in the 8th.
2 balls, 1 strike. Here it is. It looks like it's downstairs. 3-1 hitters count. So Callahan would take over for Christian Powell at second base. I'd have a feeling they could move over Josh Hankins to second, as that one's outside for ball 4. 5-pitch walk to Brody Briggs. So Callahan will bat with just 1 out, 2 on.
Yeah, getting that lefty to the plate against the righty and Tommy Beam. Some people put more stock into that than others, but maybe part of the reason for Bill Springman to make that change. And now I think with Beam not expecting to face Callahan, pitching coach for the Pilots, I believe that would be Jordan Brink, going to have a chat just to maybe tell him a little bit about the new hitter for the Bucs and Callahan.
So the pitching coach will make a mound visit and talk to Tommy Beam. Obviously about the past 2 guys, but maybe also a little scouting report to Ryan Callahan, who comes into this game. And for Callahan, we've seen him play a good bit as of late. Not a ton, but he's definitely had a lot more starts, it seems.
Yeah, over the weekend in those non-league games, we saw him featured pretty often. I believe he may have also played in that All-Star game, so might not have the largest stat quantity because of playing time prior to this weekend, but should be comfortable and in the swing of things.
Just played in 1 game from what we have, 2 walks. And a called strike there, but 2 walks in just 2 at-bats, and he has a hit, so he's 1 for 2 in his at-bats. Like I said, a couple base on balls, so he's got a disciplined eye, and he might need it here for Tommy Bean, but after that last pitch, he might have found more control. 0-1, ground ball out to short. It's going to be a tough play for Hefner. Has 1, and it's at first, and he makes it.
Yeah, like you said, could be a tough play, but for Hefner, everything's been pretty easy, or at least he's made it seem that way. Has made some tough plays, but done so cleanly and with ease, and he just looks super comfortable over there at short.
Yep, could have make a frantic play look even more frantic, but he just slows things down. I think that's his biggest key. Is just taking everything really slow, and he's able to collect himself and make a good play. But like I said, not the hardest of all plays, but it's a short dribbler like that. Callahan can get down the line fast. A lot of things could go haywire. And now the leadoff batter, Hunsaker, is up to the plate with 2 on and 2 outs. Love to get a base hit here. Ground ball up the middle. This could get through, but Hefner is there. Oh, and he can't get out of his glove. A run will come around and score, and that's your first mishap by Hefner over there at short. Not sure if he'll get the error. It was a tough play. Will, what do you think?
Tough to tell exactly what happened on that ball coming out of his glove. Whether he just, struggled to grasp it cleanly to begin with, or whether it was on the exchange, but it was going to be a tough play regardless. I think we're going to have to give the hit to Hunsaker, and in doing so, his first RBI of the season.
I think I'd have to agree. Cole Carlone takes a big swing and a miss. And like you said, tough play up the middle. I think that's your main reasoning. Even if he does glove it and throw, it's still a bang-bang play at first base, so I think it's the correct call to give him a hit there. Obviously home cooking too, so you want to give our guys as many hits as possible. Carlone takes that one outside.
I try to take the bias out of things, but I mean, it was impressive for Hefner to get there in the first place, and you don't want to give a guy an error for having to field a ball that most other guys wouldn't even get a glove on.
Exactly. Great way to put it. So Beam now in a bit of a jam. 1-1, swung on and missed. Carlone a little early on that last one, and he's the type of guy you want up. And a walk today. He's also struck out and flown out. And he'd be the go-ahead run. Tying run over there at first base. And that one's in the dirt. It gets away. Here comes Briggs. He's going to score. Hunsaker takes a big turn around second. He's going to head into third base, standing up, and the tying run is just 90 feet away.
A huge mistake from Beam and Rico there. Even if you're going to throw a ball in the dirt ahead 1-2, absolutely can't let that ball get by you. And for the Bucs, Briggs taking advantage, but Hunsaker taking huge advantage.
Yep, and not much Bo Rico could do about it. He tried to get there as fast as he could, but a huge backstop behind home plate is the reason why Hunsaker's over there at third, and now that one's outside. A payoff pitch to come. Hunsaker still 90 feet away. That's the tying run. But going back to that last play, just nothing Bo Rico could do. A lot of foul ground to work with, and Hunsaker's got the speed. 3-2. Ground ball right back to Beam. He bobbles, collects, and a long underhand toss takes care of Carlone, but that's all after. The Bucs get 2 back. It's now a 1-run lead for the Pilots. The Bucs look to shut their bats down and get a chance to tie it up or walk it off in the bottom of the ninth. But first, it's Brody Purcell back on the mound. 3-2 lead for the Pilots when we come back. Three to two now is the score after the Bucs get 2 back. One was that wild pitch. And was able to score. Going back to that last half inning, Brody Briggs came around, like you said, on that wild pitch. Peyton Knowles also scored. And now Ryan Callahan in the game, he did have an at-bat. He's over there at third. That moves Hankins from third to second.
Yeah.
So that's where we stand right now. The hitter is Hunter Backstrom. Like I said, Brody Purcell still out there on the hill. The foul ball by Backstrom, who is 0 for 3, a ground out, a line out, and a strikeout. So he's done it all.
And for Purcell, would love to bring these Bucs bats back to the plate, needing just the one run to tie things up.
Not just that, have a quick inning, and it's just like you never were in the field.
Yeah. That's crazy how quickly things can turn. Seemed like the Bucs were almost out of this thing, and now just a run away. As that one's fouled away, and that ball up the middle, a tough play for the shortstop Hefner, and then the wild pitch from Beam, and just like that, the Bucs have 2 runs, and we're close to getting a third.
1-2 pitch, fouled back.
Part of the Bucs order will be at the plate in the bottom of the 9th, but got to get there first.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Here it is, beautiful breaking ball, and it gets Hunter Backstrom looking.
Frozen pizza that time, huh?
Sure was. There was no shot at getting him, and going back to that last half inning, all done with 2 outs. Hunsaker's base hit was with 2 down. That scored the first run. And a wild pitch mixed in there too, scored Brody Briggs. Big swing and a miss. The batter now is Bo Rico. Rico is 1 for 3. Ground out to short twice, and then a base hit. Next one's fouled again.
You talked about that damage with 2 outs. That's how the Pilots got their first 2 runs of the game in the top of the 4th. But add-on run of the 8th, we talked about it in such a low-scoring game. That run huge, and the difference right now.
Big swing and a miss. He gets Bo Rico. Now 8 Ks for this Bucs pitching staff. That one's swinging. We just had 1 looking.
Second strikeout. Or third strikeout, excuse me, for Purcell.
But 8 on the day for the pitching staff, and they've looked really sharp. Between Sarhat, Hyder, Lipinski, and Purcell. First one to the leadoff batter, Logan Sanders, is upstairs.
And other than the fly out to left for Purcell, every other out been via the K.
1-0. Called strike again.
I mean, he looks confident out there, doesn't he?
He sure does. And going back to what I said, with those 2 saves, one definitely a save, the other is questionable with the scoring other games. He does have that wipeout stuff. 1-1, big swing and a miss again. And they really can't touch him, Will.
No, they cannot. And he looks confident. He's working quickly, and like you said, trying to give the ball back to those Bucs bats as quickly as possible. Not only not giving up a run, but lessening the time on the bench.
1-2. And an awkward swing as he fouls that one back. Seemed like he picked up on the breaking ball way too late.
Realized it was going to drop in there for a strike, and an impressive job to just stay alive from Sanders.
And just 3 Ks for Sarhat, despite going 5 1/3. That one misses upstairs. Hyder came on, had 2 Ks for himself. And now Purcell with 3, so that makes it 8. All pitchers have at least 1 strikeout. Deuce is wild here. Still a beautiful evening in Anchorage, Alaska. 2-2, swung on and missed. Briggs collects, throws to first, and he strikes out the side. Brody Purcell looking, swinging, and swinging. A 1-2-3 inning and a 1-run lead for the Pilots. The Bucs trying to tie it or win it here when we come back in the 9th. Last chance for the Bucs here. Bottom of the ninth. It is 3, 4, and 5. Tommy Eisenstadt, Will Burns, and Andrew Lamb, barring any pinch hitters, and these are the guys you want up to the plate.
Definitely.
The middle of the order, facing off against Tommy Beam, who struggled a little bit last inning, but was able to get out with just those 2 earned runs. And now you're not only facing Eisenstadt and the guys at the plate, but you're also facing that loud Bucs dugout.
Yep, they're going to let him have it. Try to do anything they can to power these guys over the finish line in the bottom of the ninth. Needing to make up some ground.
One a called strike, 1 ball, 1 strike.
And for the Bucs, not just the dugout, but team as a whole, things feel a lot better now than they did at the start of the bottom of the 8th.
1-1, a called strike.
Just need a base runner here to get things going.
That's it. That's how things started last inning. It was a 2-route rally, but you don't want to wait that long if you're the Bucs. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here it is from Beam. Just gets a piece of it, fouls it away.
Good job there from Eisenstadt. Not necessarily a strike, but definitely too close to take, down 1 and 2.
We'll try again with the 1-2. Here it is from Beam. Ground ball out to short. Hefner is there. Gloves, throws, and it's low, but in time for out number 1.
Once that ball's going straight at Hefner, chances of reaching first base are pretty slim. Have a chance if he has to range and make a super difficult play, but when it's straight at him, he's usually got it easily.
So Will Burns grabs a bat. He is 0 for 3. Ground out, fly out, and a line out. Now time called as Beam will get a new Pearl. Bucs dugout all on the top step out there. As Burns sees his first pitch, and it's downstairs.
Missed low, but I think Burns was giving up on that one, thinking it was inside. Did come towards the plate enough to be called a strike, but dipped too low below the zone.
1-0. Called strike again. Beam working with some good pace. From the windup, 1-1's fouled back. He's ahead again. Saw those command issues lasting. That's how he got into some trouble. But after a meeting with the pitching coach, he seemed to calm down a little bit, and his command was there.
Yep. The Bucs just really want a base runner. Do have a stolen base today. 1 for 2. Carlone successful. Hunsaker caught stealing with Bo Rico there behind the plate, and
they're making him get another baseball. I'm wondering if he's accidentally licking his fingers and not yet. That's what it was, because now he's aggressively wiping off after he licks his fingers. The rule is you have to wipe your fingers on your pant leg or the brim of your cap after licking your fingers. I guess he wasn't doing that there. 2-2. Popped up, foul ground. Giving chase on it is Dorn in foul ground, but it just exits out of play. But going back to that from Beam, I heard that actually the rule changed a little bit. I had a friend who got called for a balk. Apparently, in some places, you have to not only touch the brim, but you also have to touch the pant leg if you go to the brim first. You can obviously just lick your fingers and then go back to your pant leg. And now Beam's going to receive another baseball, oddly enough. So interesting.
Yeah, bit confused here. If he's getting new baseballs, does that mean he's just allowed to do it, or what's going on?
Not sure. 2-2. Hit up the middle. Base hit. Will Burns. The first base runner aboard here in the bottom half of the ninth. Exactly what they needed, Will.
Yep, like we talked about, just got to get a guy on. Now you're in business. Now there's more pressure on Beam for sure. Knowing that there's someone over there at first base, I'll be interested to see if Burns takes off. But even if he doesn't, a gapper from Lamb or one down the line could get the Bucs tied up.
So Peyton Knowles will grab a bat. The lefty stands in versus the righty Beam. The first one to him, a called strike on the outer half. Like we said, that command for Beam is back. Oh, excuse me, that's Andrew Lamb. I was jumping the gun a little bit. Peyton Knowles, who I was looking at on deck. Now runner goes. Pitches upstairs. The throw from Bo Rico is not in time. The ball actually escaped the glove of Hefner, but it wouldn't have mattered. Will Burns was in there, no problem. And some speedy legs on him. Sanagorski gives a couple claps of his hands over there at third. The third base coach Drawing things up for the Bucs here. A runner in scoring position. That is the tying run. Andrew Lamb now. And Tommy Beam's going to step off.
Something's gotten onto the field over and left. Maybe
Yeah.
a ball from the bullpen. But going back to that stolen base, a great pitch to throw on for Bo Rico as that ball was up and away to the lefty Lamb and just unable to get the ball down there in time at second base.
Could have honestly been a little too high to corral for Bo Rico. He was able to corral it, but it might have skewed the throw, made it a little bit later. 1-1 to Lamb.
That
one's
not
outside.
Missed by much.
That looked like a strike a couple of pitches ago, and I think Lamb, now that he knows that was called a ball, was, I don't know what you would be asking.
Maybe, do I have any further out there, or is that it?
That's probably good. 2-1. Popped up, shallow left field. It's going to hang up there for Luke Stolga, though. And that's too shallow for Burns to even think about advancing. So now 2 down, and that 2-out rally is needed here in the bottom half of the 9th inning.
Yep, 2 outs. It's now or never. The man you mentioned just a moment ago, Peyton Knowles, the last hope for the Bucs. That tying run in scoring position.
Burns, that tying run over there at second. Beam just 1 out away. That one's fouled back. Man, a tale of 2 different stories from Beam when he first came in to now.
He's pounding the strike zone now, and that's not at all what we saw from him when he first entered this game.
A 4-pitch walk. Then it got a ground out. As a foul tip into the mitt, and the Bucs down to their final strike. And it is weird to be in this position, Will, with how hot the bats have been and how hot the team has been in general, with 5 straight wins.
Yeah. Problem for the Bucs hasn't been the last couple of innings. It's whatever was going on through most of this game.
No balls, 2 strikes. Last chance, Peyton Knowles. Swung on and missed. He got him for strike 3, so the Bucs put up a valiant effort to try to come back into this one. 2 runs scored in the bottom half of the 8th inning, and a runner in Will Burns in scoring position here in the bottom half of the 9th. But unfortunately, Tommy Beam and the Pilots pitching staff just too much to overcome. So final score is 3-2. The Pilots take this one. They are now 2-1 against the Bucs in this Anchorage showdown. We'll take a little bit of a break and bring you the line score and wrap this one up. Once again, final score 3-2. Pilots take this one here in Anchorage. Welcome back to Mulcahy Stadium. Unfortunate ending to this one. The Bucs fall 3-2 to the Glacier Pilots. They are now 1-2 against the other Anchorage team this year. Fell in the first game, the season opener, and then won the game a couple days later. and then fall here 3-2 against these Glacier Pilots, who move now to 3-6. The Bucs fall to 5-2, and we saw really good pitching again today. Just the bats were kind of asleep.
Yeah, finally got going in that eighth and ninth inning, but it was just too little, too late for the Bucks. Only 3 hits in total throughout the 9 innings, and a couple of those coming late, and not something that we've been used to coming in. And we talked about how the Pilots' bats have not been the best so far this season, and only 3 runs today, but
Mm.
because of how good their pitching was and how rough the Bucks had it at the plate, it was enough to get the job done for them.
So just a close win for the Pilots. They were able to find enough runs to beat the Bucs, who had some sleepy bats today. Hopefully they'll wake back up in their next game. So looking ahead now, the Bucs will be back out there here at Mulcahy Stadium on Thursday. That's a 6 o'clock game versus the Chinooks. They have the day off tomorrow as well as Saturday. And as for the Glacier Pilots, they play here tomorrow at 6 o'clock. That is also versus the Chinooks. So the Chinooks in town for a good bit. They were here yesterday to face the Glacier Pilots. Um, Not sure where they are today, either a day off or somewhere else, but now back here tomorrow versus the Chinooks, and then again versus us on Thursday. So once again, the Bucs fall to 5-2. The Glacier Pilots move to 3-6 on the year. So we'll give you the final score. The line score: the Bucs 2 runs on 3 hits, 1 error. The Glacier Pilots 3 runs on 5 hits, no errors. Clean baseball for the Glacier Pilots. A lot thanks to Luke Hefner over there at shortstop. So once again, the final score here: 3-2. The Glacier Pilots take this one at Mulcahy Stadium. For my partner Will Hopkins, I'm Dick Massias saying so long and good night from Anchorage, Alaska.